The infrastructure, we can't talk to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No verse. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is...
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadeyi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say nothing. Okay, now I go block later. You remember that contract we got time now? They don't pay.
Hey, but first, you see the announcement with the hosts. Go first pocket, take the money slap.
You know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadeyi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make you change the meter, make you not read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make you come house, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make you come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where we say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home, my motor.
Thank you so much for staying right here with us on ATN. It's still ATN Blowout, and quickly we'll introduce our guest. We have seated in the studio with us the Royal Chief himself, Chief Edo, Magnus Edo. He is a traditional ruler and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning, Nigerians. Thank you.
It feels like you traveled. I don't know, but something in me is telling me you've not been around.
Yes, I've not been around. I'm a local village chief, not a local champion.
He's a traditional, like I told you, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot is happening, especially in the Niger Delta. We'll get to discuss it today.
Yes, it's our region.
Yes, that's why you're here.
We must talk about it.
All right, let's look at the first story. This one's coming from Calabar now, that's Cross River State. Hoodlums numbering over 100 have attacked a bus loaded with palliatives belonging to Nigerian Union of Journalists, Cross River State Council. Now, journalists, upon receiving information from the director of Cross River State Emergency Management Agency, Reverend James Anam, as beneficiaries of the present phase of distribution, they hurriedly moved to the government warehouse and successfully conveyed the food items from Barracks Road, Calabar. The initiative-laden vehicles, or the palliative-laden vehicles en route to the NUJ Secretariat, was attacked about an hour before the woodlums. They said woodlums were raining hails of stones on the slowly moving vehicle, cutting away food items from the broken windows. And the bus driver, Joseph Ekpenin, whose phone was stolen and himself left with a bruised shoulder from the attack, he told newsmen that their saving grace was when the boot of the vehicle flung open with several bags of rice and gari dropping off. And he said the mob's focus shifted from the bus at that time to the items that were dropping off the bus, giving enough way for him to scamper to safety. Now, the heinous attack also left a particular reporter, Joseph Abasi, and the council's auxiliary staff, Savior Ekpeong, and with heavy bruises and with injuries. Both of them are currently receiving treatment at an undisclosed medical facility. That's the reporter, the other individual, and the driver are the three people that were reportedly injured from this particular incident. Palliatives, moving, hungry Nigerians and thugs running after it and taking the items. Let's get your thoughts.
That is to show really that Nigerians are hungry. But we shouldn't use our hunger to perpetrate crimes to our fellow Nigerians that are still hungry. That is why sometimes when they talk about this sharing of this palliative, I must say that it is good for all stakeholders to be involved. If all stakeholders are involved, that community where this incident happened, have they actually been given any palliative whatsoever before talking of other government agencies?
Oh, so the community where it happened?
Yes. Have they actually benefited from this palliative? Because when we talk about community engagement, first, because this is where the people reside.
Okay.
This is where things is happening. Information spread around. You brought something in my own community. I'm not justifying that what they did is right.
They were just moving. They were moving.
It's someone's community.
They were just moving past.
Yes, it's someone's community.
Doesn't mean all the community. That means you're saying that all the communities should have been given palliatives. Let's not also forget that the federal government just shared palliatives to different states.
That is what I'm saying. That first and foremost, government should take this. Consider the people in the community first.
Have your community received the palliative that was distributed to River State?
No, I don't think this actually, I don't think some LG have received theirs. Once they did, communities will actually
okay, so even the local government level have not even received the palliatives
I don't
yet.
think all the local government have
received.
received.
But some of them have received?
I was told that some have received and they started sharing it.
To communities?
Yes, some of the local government in River State. I was really informed about that.
Okay.
Yes, so my own local government, the caretaker chairman, have told us that once it arrived, he is going to add up to what the state brought.
Okay.
Yes, that was a statement from the caretaker chairman.
You think that's commendable?
Yes, it's commendable if he said that he's going to add up from what the government is bringing. It's commendable.
So even at the time where we know that the federal government has distributed palliatives to communities in Nigeria, the vulnerable, and we still have people seeing palliatives moving and running after it. Because you talked about, have they received palliatives, seeing palliatives moving past their community might want to, attract them.
You cannot, the poor logistic arrangements coming from whosoever is sharing it in that state. Very poor logistic arrangement. How would you use a vehicle that is not very strong, for instance? The driver was saying that if not that the boot opened and some started dropping on the road. That means the vehicle was not roadworthy to start with. Because if it is a moving vehicle, I don't think they made the statement talked about blocking the road. No. And some palliative depends on the distance. They attach police officers to protect it, because we have issues. The last time they shared COVID-19 palliative, we've seen series of attacks to personnel that are escorting this. We should have learned from our past experience. People are actually hungry. Actually, people are hungry. Things are getting worse. But that shouldn't let people to be careless about their jobs.
This to me looked like a moving vehicle, because from the driver's explanation, they were attacked, right? They were, I don't know if they use the word pursued now, so I don't want to use that word. But remember, he said the focus was taken away from the vehicle when the boots flung open, and then the product started falling off. So these guys, these thugs, instead of going after the vehicles continually, that's going after the vehicle, they decided to start, focusing on the things that already explains that that's a moving vehicle.
I see, as a logistic expert, which I am, I'm still doubting that statement from the driver.
Why?
Okay? I'm still doubting that statement from the driver, because if it is a moving vehicle and it was attacked, who opened the boot?
It flung open.
It flung open.
That's the reason it fling open.
Yes.
Because the vehicle is moving.
Yes.
If it was just there, there's nothing to maybe open it. Okay. Don't you think? But this is not even supposed to be the basis of the conversation.
The issue remains that people are hungry. And if you are doing anything, you need to be very careful, including our homes. Can't be frying rice every day and your neighbor is hungry.
So we should not do anything anymore.
You should be very careful. The logistic arrangement was very poor, poor, excellently poor, very poor. This is not only that state that they are sharing palliative, okay? People have been very careful about it.
This one's meant for the NUJ?
Yes, now. It's going for a particular location,
yes,
from one distributing spot to their secretariat, okay? Now, I'm still emphasizing on poor logistics arrangement, because if you use a very sound vehicle and other products are moving on the road, I've not heard about any attack. Why should it be when it's time for the journalists that they will be attacking their own? Okay, so they should improve on the logistics in terms of sharing.
Okay, that's on the logistics. Now let's look at the part where people are perpetrating crime.
Okay, that is what everybody should condemn. I condemn that act. It is evil. It is not civil in any way. Your hungry shouldn't take you to commit crime. We are all hungry. Okay? We are all hungry. And actually, if you are working, you have hope that at the end of the month you'll be paid. If you don't have monthly salary, you know that if you work, there is definitely wages that are going to reward you for what you do. So don't use your anger on people's rights, because attacking someone's anything that is not yours is illegal, and they should be arrested. If they could verify, investigate, and know who's involved in this, should be punished, so that others will not see it as a federal government thing. Is free. It's our own. We can do it. It is right. Just wait until it is actually assigned to you as an individual.
When we talked about the sharing formula for the palliatives that we were told were distributed around Nigeria, you made a recommendation here. You were a guest on the show, where you said you suggest that it should go through traditional rulers.
Yes.
Because they know their people better. They know the vulnerable, since that's what the government has said.
Yes.
But then you also talked about the fact that sometimes it doesn't happen that way. That's why you were making that recommendation.
Yes, yes.
So currently, looking at the sharing formula now, is it already following that pattern? Is that because you said some people, some LGAs have received,
yes,
and some communities have also received.
Yes.
So from your analysis, the sharing formula, is it one that is viable?
Every government have their pattern and the procedure they think it is best to them. The former administration invited traditional rulers, religious leaders, even the media and all that, to
monitor the arrival, distributions, and all that. And that structure was also used in most of our communities, where you involve traditional rulers in a particular community or a region or kingdoms. Let's use kingdom, for instance. I come from Kenkana Kingdom in Kana local government. And if a majesty is receiving on behalf of the traditional rulers, he have list of all the paramount rulers under his domain. And he have list of all the traditional rulers, the youth leaders, and the CDC chairman. All this. So on that structure, if there's any communities that is having complaint, you know who to hold responsible. Not when you just give it to politicians to share. And sometimes they don't like the face of a particular traditional rulers because we are not politicians. So maybe they don't like my face and they like the face of another person, maybe more under me, maybe I'm higher than such persons. It calls for anarchy because it will not be properly distributed. And that is not the best method because this is meant for vulnerable people.
So even through the local government council, it's still not...
I don't want them to repeat what we experienced last time where people were complaining that they didn't get it. It is not meant for them. It is not meant for traditional rulers. Traditional rulers can afford rice. We can buy rice. This is made for vulnerable people in the community. And we know them. We know them. There was a time they were sharing something and my household like, they want to go and take. I said, if you want to go, if you are poor, you want to be poor, go and participate in that. They call it for vulnerable people, very poor people.
So you told
if you are welcoming poverty to your life, go and take it. I don't think any members of my family participated in that. We allow those that are meant for it to collect. And if other families can still reason that way, that if something is meant for instance, you see food meant for orphan, and you are not an orphan because you are hungry, you want to kill your parents. They say this food is meant for orphan. I am an orphan. But orphan with a difference because I not that orphan as per looking for who should take care of me. I think God should be able to take care of me as a human being. But you will see people, they mention a particular group of people. This is meant for the people, vulnerable people in our communities. You will see those that can afford rice because of greed. They will still involve.
We're talking about what happened in the past.
Yes, so I don't want that to repeat.
Even through traditional rulers?
No.
You mentioned that...
I have said that, like
some
now...
Some traditional rulers, you just mentioned
some traditional rulers, because some politician may not like your face.
Okay, I get
might deprive you from getting involved so that we go down to the people.
Okay.
That is what I mean. All
right. Let's look at the next story now. This story is coming down to the Niger Delta as a whole. We have reports that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and youth leaders across the Niger Delta have declared the region a protest-free zone. Now, Akpabio also launched an internship scheme initiated by the Niger Delta Development Commission for 10,000 youths of the Niger Delta region. Now, Akpabio and the leaders spoke during the NDDC Executive Management engagement with Niger Delta ethnic nationalities and selected stakeholders in Port Harcourt. The Senate President declared that the proposed nationwide protest by some youths would not take place in the 9 states of the Niger Delta. He gave details of the youth internship scheme. Akpabio said that the 10,000 youths would be engaged in the program designed to improve their skills, noting that the beneficiaries in the first phase would be paid 50,000 naira monthly. Akpabio insisted that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was committed to development of the Niger Delta region. He noted that following the presidential directive, the NDDC recently inaugurated 5 flagship projects. We'll come to this, please. Let's just stop there now. We'll come back to that particular spot. But we're seeing that this story is talking about 3 different things. The first thing that was mentioned was the protest and the fact that Akpabio, the Senate President, has said that in the Niger Delta, in all the states in the Niger Delta, there will be no protest. I saw that video, and in his words, he said, while the people who want to protest are protesting, we will be eating. You know, so that was actually his statement. He also got to talk about the 50,000 naira that will be paid to 10,000 Niger Delta youths monthly now, not just once, as a compensation to what's going on, whatever. So let's first of all get your thoughts on the statement from the Senate President about there being no protest in the Niger Delta.
With due respect to our amiable and very eloquent Senate President, Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio, I think the Nigeria Constitution gives rights to individuals, groups of people to participate in a peaceful demonstrations. And I don't think as of yesterday, there has been an amendment of that chapter 4 of our Constitution, section 40, talks about that freedom of lawful assembly. So saying that there won't be any protest, and at the same time there will be protests while some will be eating. Okay? The same, you are saying that there won't be protest, and you are also encouraging those that shouldn't participate that there is enough food for them. And I want to ask, President Tinubu recently signed into law the minimum wage of 70,000 naira. And you are telling Niger Delta youths that you are paying them 50,000 naira. What is the balance? Either you call it a dash, or you call it a stipends, or you call it grant or anything. It shouldn't be less than 70,000. That is where I was watching there were youths clapping hands.
Yes.
When you have been deprived from employment, you have been deprived from gaining any meaningful skill, and those that have been trained, I don't see any startup pack being given to them. You still fall back to where you was before you embark on those training. If you want to engage our youth, you engage them meaningfully.
What is your definition of meaningful engagement?
We train me and you don't have where I am doing anything. Did you engage me in anything? I still fall back to the community. I acquire skill. Maybe I took the skill of how to repair any heavy duty machine. There is no industry in my community where I may be locally engaged to carry out those things that have been taught. I went back for training in any of the states in the Niger Delta. At the end of the day, I'm back in my community doing nothing. There's no plan negotiation with any companies that we have 5,000 youth we are training. Please engage this set of youth for us because they are from Niger Delta and you operate within Niger Delta. I don't think there will be any company that will reject such offer. We have trained them. They are experts. They are there to add value. In short, company employ you and train you and pay money to train you to fit in that particular jobs. Apart from the on-job training that you may acquire, it is in the Factory Act. It is lawful for every employer to train their staffs to suit with other clients, because if we are living in a competitive economy, so if you don't train your personnel to compete with other clients, you'll be lost, you'll be pushed out of business.
Haven't we had schemes like that where Niger Delta youths were being trained? Have we not had schemes like that?
Are scam
because when we also look at the amnesty scheme now, or whatever I would want to call that, I know that a lot of youths were being trained in different aspects. Some of them were even sent out of the country. Some of them were sent to different universities here in Nigeria.
These are laudable ideas by the federal government. How to handle restiveness, how to handle youth unemployment. Many have benefited. Many have benefited. Many are engaged. But you don't capitalize on the past glory of previous administrations. You know, the initiative of taking care of Niger Delta actually came during Yar'Adua administrations. And it was laudable for him to achieve that amnesty program, which is still ongoing currently now. What I'm saying is that if you engage anybody, if you train anybody, ensure you monitor to the point of engaging that person. If you train me and you don't engage me, should I force myself and get something? You know that if I've been trained, I should get something. And you don't want to facilitate the process of me getting something, except very few that are lucky. Okay? Provide informations where there are job vacancies to these people you train. let them apply by themselves and compete with other people.
Okay, so for these 10,000 youths that will be given 50,000 naira monthly, how effective do you think this initiative would be?
They just want to enrich themselves.
Because when it was mentioned and the event, people are beginning to feel like, okay, probably because they don't want the Niger Delta youth to protest, because he has stated that this is going to be a protest-free zone. So because they want the Niger Delta youth to protest, probably that's why they're saying, we'll give you 50,000 naira monthly. Can you not protest?
If they start paying that money this morning, for me, I will be happy that at least some youth have started benefiting from the national cake. Okay? If they can pay this morning, this early morning, even tomorrow, even next tomorrow, if they can pay, fine. It is our money. No matter name they want to call it, it is Niger.
Is it going to stop the youth from protesting?
Protest is the right of every Nigerian.
Because saying this is going to be a protest.
This is not the first time during the Obasanjo regime. There was a protest. In 2000, there was a protest against the increase in fuel price. There is no government that have escaped protests in Nigeria since 1999 to date. There is no government. Yar'Adua faced his own protests, anti-corruption protests. He faced it. Goodluck Jonathan, removal of fuel subsidy, he faced it. Oh, don't remove subsidy. That was a massive protest. We were all in this country and we experienced it. We are not talking about violent protests that we went ahead and be destroying houses.
Is this enough to stop the youths from protesting? The monthly, the 50,000 naira monthly, is it enough
to
stop the youths from protesting?
Can you know how many numbers of youth we have in Niger Delta? And you think maybe they have a list of those that they felt that we protest. And protest can be done in any form. So if you are paying those you think they may come violently to protest, and those that will come peacefully to protest are not being paid, and the protest still go ahead, have you achieved your aim of stopping them not to protest? No. Why not involve every stakeholders in the meeting, in the summit that was held yesterday, and discuss the way forward? Hear from the youth that are protesting.
Is it possible to involve every stakeholder in the Niger Delta?
Why?
Because it was stated that some stakeholders in Niger Delta were involved in that meeting.
I saw those that were there yesterday. The same people that were in another summit. I hardly see how many leaders that talks about the Ogoni representations in that summit, that yesterday meeting. I hardly see. Maybe I didn't follow it up, or maybe I did not have access to the list of invitees. Okay, because I hardly see maybe a traditional ruler invited from the Ogoni axis, or a youth leader from the Ogoni axis. Don't forget, we come from different ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta. With due respect to our Ijaw people, they were heavily represented by their leaders and other people. Talks on their behalf. I believe Niger Delta youth are very listening kind of youth. If the leader say don't do this, they will listen.
So that means you see this being effective, and the Niger Delta is not protesting actually.
Why would they protest?
Well, you just said they are very obedient to their leaders.
One part of the youth, if you invite you leaders from Ogoni axis, from the Ikwere, I'm talking of River State. If you invite leaders, you know their leaders and identify with these leaders from all these ethnic nationalities in the Niger Delta. That hall will be still, that will be spacious to accommodate them. There is enough space to accommodate these youths. Involve them. How many, apart from Michael Briggs that spoke on behalf of the women, how many vibrant young lady that talks about the youths of Niger Delta? And we are talking about inclusiveness. We are talking about gender equality. How many youth, how many female youth activists that was allowed to talk and talks about the importance of youth, female youth, being involved in protests?
Do you think that that meeting was to hear from the people and, you know, hear the plight of the people? Or was it just to make an announcement that no youth in Niger Delta are going to protest?
Don't you hear the statement? Don't you hear the speech of Alhaji Asari Dokubo? He said that the 10 demands from the Nigerian youths excluded the demands of the Niger Deltas. So what are the demands of the Niger Deltas that we don't know? That the 10 demands completely removed the demands of the Niger Delta. So for me...
So you see the protest not being beneficial to the Niger Delta people?
That is what he said. That is his statement. And I quote, he said so, that he is not going to be part of the protest because Tinubu is our brother from the south. And since he's our brother from the south, when Jonathan was there as a brother from the south, there was a protest against him. Okay? That when Yaradua, when the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari was there, there was no protest. There was a protest. And it was a protest during the Buhari regime. It wasn't ethnic, there was no ethnic correlations. Hunger did not have tribe, did not have respect. If you are from the south, you are hungry. If you are from the north, you are hungry. And they say, ain't bad government. This bad government affects everybody. Everybody. So, since the protest is the right of Nigerians, if our leaders are saying that that right has been removed from the constitutions, fine and good. I'm not going to protest. I am not going to carry plaque out. I'm not going to encourage anyone not to protest, not to protest. But hunger affects every communities. If you go to my community yesterday, my community, my farm was, they stole my cassava in my farm, looted everything away in my community because people are hungry. Even the person that saw the person that was in the farm refused to tell me that if I tell you are going to arrest that person and the person is hungry.
The
so
palliatives that were stolen from Cross River, that's also in Niger Delta, so it's part of it.
Yes, now what we are saying is that
we're saying the same thing.
What we are saying that if there's constant palliatives to alleviate the suffering of the people, it's noble ideas of the federal government. And I'm understanding the wife of the president because it's coming from his office. She has a motherly heart. She has a good heart. And she has listened to the plight of the people. And she felt that, no, this is the way we can come in. If all the state governors consolidate on it, come down to the local governments, all this money you'll be talking about, security vote of the local government, convert this into helping the people. Because I think the state of insecurity in some of our local government and some state in the Niger Delta have reduced. Convert it in helping the people. Use it to help the people. It will consolidate on the plan of the federal government. And that it will be laudable for me. So I am not against the protest. I am not supporting the protest.
We know that everybody is affected from your statements and from different statements. Even if no matter the class you are, you know that something is different in Nigeria. Something is different. Let's put it that way. So saying that if the Niger Delta youths do not join the protests, how do you think this is going to affect us as a people?
If the Niger Delta youth did not join the protest?
Yes. They exempt themselves from the protest, like it has been stated that the Niger Delta youths are not going to participate in the protest.
Okay.
How do you see this affecting the region?
For me, since the protesters are still, they remain faceless. Okay? They remain faceless. No group have claimed responsible for planning this. So I don't see in any way it's going to affect the region. If actually let's say they boycott the protest, that they are not going to participate in the protest because of the intervention of the Senate president and some critical stakeholders in the Niger Delta, and they are listening to them and they believe in their leadership, and they listen keenly to them by their word, and there is plan on ground to implement what they promised the Niger Delta youth.
Talking about the promise to the Niger Delta youth and the implementation, do you see this 50,000 naira monthly that has been promised us being a way to keep us away from the protest, like stop us from protesting? Or do you just see this being something that the government saw that the youth needed and decided to do?
Like you have to quote from the statement of Honorable Senate president. He's saying that there's a plan for you. Don't go and protest. We have planned for you to give you 50,000 naira monthly. Is this enough should this be enough to stop us from protesting against the ills that the people are talking about? He's a lawmaker. He's a lawmaker, and he knows it's the right of Nigerians to protest. Until that clause is being removed from chapter 4 and section 40. Should 50,000 naira be enough to stop Niger Delta youths from speaking against what is 50,000 naira when Nigerians are talking about minimum wage of 70,000 naira? And why would you pay me 50,000 naira when I'm not doing anything? Is that not corruption? I'm not doing anything, I don't work, and you are encouraging laziness in this country. Tomorrow when you don't pay again, they come out with another agitator names. That, oh, we were paid, we are not paying again. Are you not also planning another future protest? When these people will be deprived from payment, you engage 10 persons, for instance, 10,000 youth, 50,000. You pay them for 20 months, or you pay them for 10 months, you pay them for 2 months. Maybe you cannot continue again. Don't you think they will protest? This kind of empowerment for people that doesn't work, I don't see it as a good steps. I don't see it as a good step for government to encourage Niger Delta youth. I'm here, I don't work. You pay me 50,000 because you feel like if you are paying me 50,000, I won't talk. My fundamental human right will be removed from me. You are closing my mouth, 50,000. Can 50,000 close anybody's mouth this time? So you actually also see this as a scheme to close, like you said, the, he has mentioned it, yes, of the youth. Of course, he has mentioned it. That was exactly why I asked you how you think this will affect us at the end of the day. He has mentioned because if our lips are actually shut because of 50,000 naira, after that, what happens? How sustainable is it going to be? Even the 50,000 naira that shut people's mouth. How sustainable is it going to be? Where are they deriving the money from? The NDDC. It talks about borrowing, that they borrow so trillions of naira. You divert the money that was meant to development of the Niger Delta. And I show more respect Akio Briggs yesterday. She talks about, stop saying intervention. You don't need intervention in the Niger Delta. Build the Niger Delta for us. Why you be using our money that intervention? If you want to do road, you say you are intervening in the road. Why not construct a road that will be sustainable for the people? Why not build school that will be sustainable for the people? Why not talk about hospital? The people in the riverine area, they don't have floating hospitals. Before you take somebody from Kola to Port Harcourt, maybe a pregnant woman from Kola to Port Harcourt, that you are on speedboat for about 2 hours on the sea, there is no provision whatsoever to we have mobile flow stations at the riverine areas. You used to see a mobile flow station where you can stop and get fuel or any diesel, mobile floating mobile station. Why can't our Niger Delta NDDC think deep and provide a floating hospital that will be very closer to the people at the riverine area? We are talking about hospital. I come from the Ogoni axis. Before you can access UPTH or BMH from Kwawa community where I come from, it will take you time because of the Akpajo East-West Road. And every day we have people that media couldn't get access to them, that are passing through pains. Family have lost a lot of lives. Let our NDDC talks about developing. They have what we call NDDC master plan, developmental plan of the Niger Delta. Let them start implementing this. If you start implementing this, you won't be talking about 50,000. What do the Niger Delta youth really want? Because sometimes you hear schemes like this and you hear statements like this and people are already thinking, because from the response yesterday, from the response from that meeting, we're hearing applauds and all of that. And on social media, we're seeing that a lot of people are applauding this particular statement of 50,000 naira monthly, which you now have agreed in your thoughts that it might be a way to shut the people up, and saying that they're not protesting, this is a way to shut them up, like you have mentioned earlier. So one would ask, what the people really need? Is it that we need money? Is the Niger Delta is just need money?
or do they really want what they have been clamoring for their environment to be for the remediation of the environment? Do they really need the schools they're talking about and all of at least the basic amenities? Because even when we talk about activists in the Niger Delta, sometimes when we look at communities like the Ogoni, when we talk about that the cleanup now, when we talk about other communities, you hear people saying things, almost scholarships that these IOCs are supposed to give. You hear that it's been siphoned. You hear people saying, oh, the youths were giving money and then they kept quiet. So what do the Niger Delta youths really want?
I think this question, government have answered it severally. From the Yaradua time,
is it the government that will tell us what the Niger Delta youth wants?
What Niger Delta youth wants is all over. Government knows what the Niger Delta youth wants. Niger Delta youth, we keep emphasizing on what they want. It depends on their approach to answer these questions. If you are talking about youth restiveness and you create opportunities for where you engage the youth of Niger Delta, you have answered 1% of the need of the Niger Delta people. 1%. You know, as fathers, you allow your children to tell you their needs and you identify areas that you can come in and solve problems. You cannot provide all what your children need. You advise and guide. The federal government knows that the IOCs that are operating from the Niger Delta doesn't have their headquarters in Niger Delta. If they have their headquarters in Niger Delta, so many of our youth will be engaged. Okay, the Niger Delta people knows that the oil has been taken out from the Niger Delta. The 13% derivations that it talks about end in the hands of governments, ends in the hands of governors, end in the hands of those that are in government. The 13% derivation that government are paying to the 9 Niger Delta states, Niger Delta people want to see the evidence of that money. The money that is meant for the NDDC, Niger Delta youth want to see how those money have been implemented. Not few cabal and the youth activists that you give the ASCENT jobs, you give few solar lights contracts.
How successful do you think this 50,000 naira will shut the lips of the Niger Delta people?
That is, for me, I don't believe in this 50,000 naira. It is not what the Niger Delta youth want.
But will they respond to it?
The 50,000?
Yes, and then do not
how possible are they collecting the names of this
If this works out, do you see Niger Delta used to be relenting in the protests?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because like I have said, like Fanan has said, like some legal luminaries have explained, that the right to protest is enshrined in our constitutions. And you are saying that don't protest, fine, you give me 50,000, I should stay at home and eat. Let him pay the money now. Is it not our money?
If he pays the money, are we going to actually stay at
home?
No,
let him pay the money first.
If he does.
Let him pay first.
Chief, if he does.
That he will stay at home.
Will we stay at home as Niger Delta is?
If we are going to create another protest, because those that did not benefit will be angry.
Oh, okay.
That, you pay these people because, okay, he's going to create another anti-protest in a protest. It is going to be dangerous.
Okay.
You shouldn't have mentioned money. For me, if you are talking to your people, you are a father in this region. The youth respect you based on your positions. So if you are talking to the youth from the Niger Delta, don't be seeing them as hungry people. That if I just put a bait on anything, they will eat. You know, talk to them like fathers and be reasonable beyond 50,000 naira. This youth you are talking about have families. This youth you are talking about have children in the higher institution. This youth you are talking about have, they are not engaged in any way. They are not doing anything. And you think 50,000 naira can shut their mouth? 50,000 naira is not enough. Even the federal government that just implement the 70, why not talking about 200,000 for instance? They assume you are giving each youth 200,000, which cannot even last for a month. If you want to rely on that. It cannot even last in a month. So if you are paying 50,000, do you know our cost of transportations? What if those that are sponsoring this protest pay 300,000 to those that will participate in the youth in the protest? Do you think that your 50,000 can go anyway? If those that are sponsoring this protest can say, okay, Senate President say 50,000. Okay, we offer you 150,000. Come out and protest. And people are hungry. And people are protesting because they are hungry. Now they have seen an higher offer. Come out and protest, we give you 100,000 and forget about the 50,000 naira. You will see people in every community mobilizing people. 100,000 against 50,000 is involved. You are also fueling the protest to be more stronger. You are fueling the protest to the protesters to think in another dimension. How to vent their anger, how to vent their voices. Oh, you want to pay 50,000 naira.
Right. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And I wonder what you actually think should have been the steps instead of taking
Dialogue with these people. Talk sense into the youths, like we are doing voluntarily as traditional rulers. Because this protest is going to affect communities. If they go the other way around, they are going to, if they go in another way around, houses is going to be burned. If that houses belong to communities people, we own, either you are from my community, any property that is in my community, I own responsibility of those properties. So we are not in support of any violent protest. But since the protest, it is the right of Nigerians to protest. How could you stop them?
All right, let's look at the next story now. Still on protests, because as Nigerians prepare for nationwide protests against poor governance starting on August 1st. A concerning video has emerged showing thugs intimidating market traders on Lagos Island. The footage, which has been widely circulated, depicts the thug moving through the market and threatening traders with severe consequences if they do not comply with their demands. One of the individuals in the video is heard warning Nigerians, "You are not the only people that are hungry. Do not come out on August 1st to protest. Well, if you get mine, come out and see what will happen to you." This is a very huge threat, and this is something that is, it's something we should not take lightly, because these are thugs and people who will boldly come out and tell you, if you come out in their words, you understand. And then a lot of Nigerians are saying they will come out, and people feel that these people were paid. According to reports, that's what people feel. But let's get your thoughts on
You know, in River States, during the general elections, I think last state general elections, there are some communities that some people can cry that some vote for a particular political party or a particular candidate.
Sure.
If you come out, you want to vote, you will see what will happen to you. Okay? And we know that was sponsored by a particular political party. In some communities, because people are afraid. We have seen incidents of where people were tortured because you violated their community order. This is not good in a democracy. We are not in a military era where you give decrees, where you give order. This is democracy. The person that is saying don't come out have the right to say so. The person have the right to say so. Don't come out.
The person has the right to threaten.
Freedom of expression.
Threaten people.
No, freedom.
This was a threat,
no.
Obviously.
Freedom to express. They should arrest the person. It's not everything. It's not everything we escalate.
This is beyond freedom to express yourself.
No, don't
at the detriment of another person's
No, don't
expression.
come out. The person was talking and they are seeing the person. And it was in a market.
Report said thugs.
And that's the name they use.
It means it was not one person.
It was not one person. It was sponsored. You know how Nigeria operates. If I'm benefiting from this office, I will talk good about this office. I will protect the interests of this office. I won't like anything to happen to this office. Let's assume these are people that are benefiting directly from a section of the government. And they are protecting the government illegally. Thugs are not known in law. They are criminals. Criminals are not to be allowed to threaten citizens. They should be arrested. And where are the security agencies? Where are our detectives, secret investigators in the Nigeria police force? Where are our forensic experts that can detect voices and know who are behind?
Videos. You don't even need to start detecting voices. There are videos if these guys want to be caught.
Good.
Videos are available.
Good. I know there was there's one video I watched. I didn't hear what they were saying because they used another Yoruba language. They were talking about all this and that. And I think this is the time the security agencies need to be alert. Because if anyone wants to foment trouble, it is against our constitutions, it's against the government. The government can go after those set of people. Not, you see, like we were in a meeting yesterday, you will see a criminal, police will arrest a criminal. In 2 days, it's back to the community. In 2 days, it's back to the community. And you give the community a bad light that, oh, you cannot provide evidence why you should be arrested. So if there is no evidence, then why can't you do your investigations? So for me, the threat is not acceptable. That the people shouldn't come out.
This is already looking like the protest is... There are a lot of people who want to come out and then, you know, move against the protest that's been hijacked. Because if the protest has not started, we're already having thugs and hoodlums coming out and threatening people, saying, if you come out, you will see what will happen to you. That's already pointing at a direction that there are people on ground who are ready, probably, to hijack the protests.
Yes, of course. That is the Nigeria pattern. There's nothing that people will not hijack. There's nothing. There's nothing like people will not hijack. Even a church, what do they call, rally. There are times you will see people attacking them. Church rally being carried out for evangelism, calling for their members to come out for a particular crusade. You see people attacking them, that they are making noise within their environment, that they don't believe in what they are doing. Okay? That is why I am calling on the security agencies. Those that is going to attack the protesters should be arrested. Those protesters that are coming out to commit crime should also be arrested. Since the federal government cannot stop the protest, because I have not seen in any way that they're able to make a categorical statement that will declare that there will be no protest.
Saying that the Niger Delta will not join the protest and none of the states will join the protest, that is a very clear statement. And I don't see any pleading there. Because we hear some state governors say, we hear reports that, oh, this state governor is pleading with the youth in the state not to protest. But from these statements, do you see it as a plea to the Niger Delta youth not to protest?
Yes, it's a plea.
It's a plea.
Yes,
okay.
It's a plea.
Which of the words do you think was used that looks like it was a plea?
Yes, you have talked about the successes recorded so far by Tinubu administration.
Yes, it was mentioned.
That the hunger we are expressing government, okay, that it has been there before now. But I didn't like us to look at the Niger Delta as the only people who know how to be violent in protests. Okay? So if the Niger Delta boycott the protest, that the protest will be meaningless. The protest cannot hold. Every part of this country are hungry.
Niger Delta is just one region.
Yes. So so you think if they boycott, there will be special benefit from the federal government to the Niger Delta? Oh, you people did not participate in the protest. So since you did not participate in the protest, oh, we are giving the people that did not participate in the protest a special consideration, a special project, a special gift.
You don't think anything like that will happen?
I don't think anything like that will happen.
All right. Let us take some time off now. Let's go to a short break. And when we return, the conversation will definitely continue. Protest is on everyone's lips, but we have other stories to discuss. Please stay with us.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, I give them I say nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house with the things. Go first call caretaker, take the money, slap am.
I beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy. Why they pay for club? When me and boys they shall be in our house, I pay that one. You remember saying me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, They pay you money now. People don't they beg caretaker. People they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us money. Can't come now. You want divert am. You said na corruption. Corruption not in my house and not in my country.
Sure.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honourables, you human trafficker. Honourables.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social.
Good to have you back. Let's delve straight to the next story. Presidency on Tuesday condemned the organizers of the End Bad Government protests, saying there is no bad government in Nigeria but a thinking government. The senior special assistant on media to President Bola Tinubu, Mr. Tunde Rahman, said although Tinubu has identified that some problems need to be addressed, they would be resolved in earnest. Rahman spoke in Lagos at the Lateef Jakande Annual Memorial Lecture 2024 that's themed Rapidly Changing Media Landscape, Media Survival Strategies. According to him, the economic challenges Nigeria was facing weren't a peculiar case. It was a global issue. And in his words, and I quote, our people have a right to protest, and it is their right to do so. But we don't know who the people behind the protests are. They are faceless. They have no hope. I'm calling a lot of us to not go on the streets. We have to be mindful of the real motive of people who are calling us to join in the protests. Yes, challenges are there. Our economy is in turmoil, and this is not peculiar to Nigeria. Most of the world's economies are in turmoil at the moment. The president is doing his best to address these problems. They have tagged the protests and end to bad governance. I do not think we have bad governance at the moment. We have a thinking government. Some problems need to be addressed, and some of the solutions that have been applied will resolve the problem sooner than later. Different things mentioned here. First of all, about the theme of the protest, and bad governance. There's no bad governance. We only have a thinking government. Another thing that was mentioned was about the steps that the president is taking, and that these steps would definitely yield results at the end of the day. And in his words, the president is actually doing his best.
For me, you have said it all.
So you actually agree with the statement?
You have said it all because he first and foremost acknowledged that there is right, people have the right to protest.
Of course.
Okay. And then if he's saying that the people remain faceless, I think there are some group of lawyers who are saying that this protest must go on. And this protest is the fundamental human right of every Nigerian to protest. Since he agreed that it's a fact that the protest can go on, but the people are faceless. Like I have said here, there's no peaceful protest that if you are not properly managed, that cannot be hijacked. And that is where everybody is afraid of.
But are the people faceless?
Because I've mentioned that the people are faceless. They are in government. They might have seen the faces of those that are in protest.
He said faceless. How do you see the face of a faceless person?
If he's saying faceless, that means all you youths that are clamoring for the protest are faceless. They don't exist. They don't have hope. And it's only a hopeless person that is coming out to protest. So if he's saying that they don't have hope, yes, they have told you that they don't have hope. That they are hopeless, completely hopeless.
But they have asked for the organizers of the protest to come out.
There was a video with some leaders, some identified leaders of this protest with the Inspector General of Police yesterday. And the Inspector General of Police was saying that, yes, it is your right to protest, but don't allow it to go the way that will be destructive. And there are some youth leaders, which I saw in that visual meetings, that actually address the issue of the protest. I think there was some also NBA have some representatives on that visual meeting. If these people have come out to defend why the protest can go on, are you still calling them faceless group?
But let's also look at the statements that the government has been making for some time now through different individuals. Even though we're saying that there's, the people say there's bad governance and we need to end bad governance today, you're concurring to that? You agree we have bad governance?
If there's no bad governance, the people that have been arrested in terms of corruptions, are they actually being prosecuted? If there's no bad governance, those electoral processes that are giving us issue in this country, has it been actually addressed? If there's no bad governance, those insecurity, have we punished any of the senior officers that have been unable to handle simple tasks? Simple tasks. If there's no bad governance, how come about importation of bad fuel into this country?
But he's saying that...
And nobody's talking about
it's not bad governance we have. We have a thinking government.
Every government needs to think ahead. Everybody is thinking. Everybody is thinking. If you want to define thinking, it can be depressed. It's also part of thinking. You can be overwhelmed by situations. You are thinking as well. The government need to think. Yes, that's why we elect them. That's why we ask them to think on our behalf.
That means you agree that we have a thinking government.
The government need to think. That is their democratic right to think. We don't need to tell us that they have a thinking government. It is their right to think, because you must think to make things work.
So you are saying that a government can be a thinking government and still be a bad government?
It can be a bad government. You have bad policy, you have bad people surrounding the government, you have cabal that are not allowing things to flow the way it is. A bad government you cannot completely call a system completely bad. We have some fault in some structures. The government comprised of the legislatures, we have the executives, and we have other 3 arms of government that we have. So you look at laws that have been made so far within this period. Is it the laws that is going to benefit the common people in the communities? And how comes about this? And things keep, price of goods still escalating, still going up. And you think the people will close mouth and say, oh, we bought this yesterday, you come back today, the price have changed. Government is doing nothing about it. Government can no longer regulate price of PMS. It is the sole responsibility of government to say we have a fixed price of fuel nationwide. Regulate it. There should be agency. If you go to filling station now, every filling station has turned to independent marketer. What happened to those major marketers that they don't have product again? That you can go and buy an official price with the same meter, accurate meter. If it is 1 liter, it should be 1 liter. Is it not the bad government that cannot control the price of PMS? We don't have DPK no longer. It's not the bad government that we don't have kerosene. In most of our filling stations, you cannot go to filling station now. And if you have need, you have factories that use kerosene to operate. You cannot access it. It's not the bad government.
The government through different individuals. Back to that question I was going to ask earlier, what do you make of the government saying, oh, we don't know the faces of these people organizing the protests? And the FCT minister also mentioned that it's political. So if we don't know the faces of these people organizing these protests, then you have to be careful with the people asking you to come out and protest.
The people coming out to protest.
What do you make of that statement?
The people coming out to protest are Nigerians. Forget about who is sponsoring it or who is making those. Forget about the people. Listen to what the people are saying. Are we paying the same price of? Are we saying that there is no problem in the economy? Are we saying that everything is going on smoothly? Are we saying that everything is all right? What do you have to do with those that are calling for the protest when you are seeing that Nigerians are calling for the protest? Do you need my name to be mentioned?
Even the IGP said they have intelligence report that some foreign mercenaries might want to hijack the protests.
This is where his intelligence should work.
This is showing a lot that from their statements might be some underlying things under this protest that we might not be seeing.
And that is...
And the Nigerians, from their words, should be careful.
Everybody need to be careful if the protests go on or not. We live a careful life as Nigerians. You are mindful of what you say, even though we have freedom to say it.
All right. Let's look at this next story now. Saying that 15 lawmakers under the aegis of the Economy Rescue Group have called on Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Petroleum or National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, to resign. The group have alleged mismanagement under Kyari's leadership at the NNPCL was responsible for the woes being recorded by President Bola Tinubu. I'll take that again. They have claimed that the NNPCL are responsible for the woes that are being recorded by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, that's his administration. In a statement signed in Abuja by its leader, Honorable Sosa Yawe, lawmaker representing Oredo Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives in Abuja. Now, the lawmakers have insisted that Kyari should be suspended pending outcome of House of Representatives Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream and Midstream Forensic investigation into the state of the National Oil Company and the downstream midstream sectors as a whole. The lawmakers accuse the NNPCL CEO and other management staff of the corporation of undermining Tinubu's renewed hope agenda through corruption, incompetence, and must be shown the way out. until the forensic investigation embarked upon by the House of Representatives through the Downstream and Midstream Joint Committee is concluded, in order to avoid any act of sabotage. Now, this part is where I want you to listen carefully. While backing the House's forensic investigation to the presence of the middlemen in trading, indiscriminate issuance of licenses, these are things that they are accusing them of, unavailability of laboratories to check adulterated products, the influx of adulterated products into the country, amongst many other things that have been mentioned. The group has advised the president to wield the big stick by suspending the NNPCL top echelons till the probe is over. This call for suspension of the NNPCL boss because of these things that have been mentioned. During your analysis earlier, you also made mention of adulterated fuel coming to the country and you don't think anything was done about it. Even though people's engines were bad, spoiled at that time due to this adulterated fuel that came in. We didn't understand how or why. And now they're saying no laboratories to even check the efficacy of these products that are coming into the country. Is this enough to call for the suspension of the NNPCL boss?
If Melekari is a true Nigerian, he should have resigned by now. He should have stepped aside.
Why?
He should have stepped aside and allow investigations to go on. You can't be in the same office, the same document that we are coming to investigate. You're still signing more documents. He should have stepped aside. So look at what happened in the US. He should have resigned. Because there are a lot of issues. It's this fuel things that is causing this hardship. These fuel things, this fuel cabal thing, this importation of fuel. Remember what Dangote said? Who is investigating all those statements? And he said that he has been fighting all his life. He's not afraid to mention things like that. There are some cabals in this oil industry. Since Melekari came, he was there during Tinubu's Buhari's time. This is a private company and he's the CEO of that company, managing the affairs of oil, upstream and downstream. I don't see any improvement. I have not even seen any change. Things getting worse every day under his leadership. For me, he should have, the president should immediately sack him. It's part of the problem we are having in this country. It's part of the problem we are having. How many times have they increased the price of PMS under his regime? Under his regime. When they came, how much was PMS per liter? And what are the reasons of unnecessary increments? Unnecessary increment. Because if the subsidy had been removed, and we know that the benefit of that will be used in developing this country, how much is he remitting to Nigerians? Now, the problem is not the carry himself. The problem also falls back to the legislators. The time they talked about adulterated fuel that came into this country, the Senate were still investigating till today. Nobody has been figured out as the sponsor or let's assume that we believe that it's coming from maybe amateur people, maybe the enemies to Nigerians, politically motivated fuel came into Nigerians, okay? Maybe it was the opposition party that went and bought adulterated fuel so that all the cars of the ruling parties will get spoiled. Let's assume it was politically motivated. So I completely backed up this statement that he should be sacked. Under his regime, there are a lot of corruption ongoing in that sector. There are a lot. We are talking about oil theft. We are talking about
refineries.
All those things. The refinery is not working. Even the one that we think that is our own. Even the one that we think it as our own. Let's say, okay, the richest man in Africa owns a refinery. There are a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues under his watch. So for me, he should step aside and allow proper investigation to be carried out.
You know, still talking about the protests now. Ahead of the planned protest for August 1st, the federal government has declared all its 256 custodial centers across the country, red zones, whose sanctity must not be violated under any guise. And the Controller General of Corrections, Ali Nababa, gave the warning in a statement issued on Tuesday. And this warning is coming amidst the whole protest and the fact that this is a red zone. Do not come closer. And someone asked this morning why anybody would want to go to prisons to protest.
You know what the antecedent of a prison break in this country, okay? You don't need to tell us these are intelligent and they need to work on. These are intelligent work on. Nigerians behave somehow. Where they say they shouldn't go, that is where they will go. They want to see that thing that you say we shouldn't.
Nigerians will see it as a call.
You are even telling Nigeria that, oh, these are areas that they should go and protest, that there are people in the demands, that there are people that were illegally arrested during the NSAS protest, that they are in prison.
Probably that's why this statement is coming up.
Well, for me, it is purely security issues. They should play their men to protect the lives of those that are in prison because they are Nigerians. I don't need any attack on innocent people, even though they are under trial. And even though when we know there are some people who are illegally, they are under some oppression by government or individuals, and they need freedom, but it must pass through a legal process. So I think they should step up their security during around the prisons. But I have not seen it as a welcome statement. They need to work on their intelligence. They don't need to tell us, since they know it's a red zone. Who is going there to expect me to be going to prison except when I have an official engagement with prisoners to talk with them? So it is red zone. Nobody should go there. I'm not even advising any protesters because the prisoners is not cause of the problem we have in this country. So why going there?
Maybe the prison break or something.
Prison break that they want to cause is uncalled for because they will be arrested back.
No, we're talking about thugs not hijacking this protest. The protest has been slated to begin by tomorrow. That's the 1st of August. And from reports, we have heard the IGP time and time again talk about security. We've seen reports in different states where forcemen have been deployed, different numbers being mentioned. The protest is beginning tomorrow. If it starts, if Nigerians come out to protest, we'll get to find out more details. I will be here to give you details as this unfolds regarding this topic. But we must thank Royal Chief Magnus Edo for joining us today on ATN Blowout. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Let Nigeria you'll be.
All right, at this point, we will wrap things up. This is where we get to wrap it up. Thank you. Remember, we are open for sponsorship and partnerships. And stay connected with us on our socials on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television, and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network, and on X at Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I am Enidoye Jackson. Coming up next is Open Conversation. Stay with us.
Economy, sport, and frontline across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.